Hey there, Marge here from Rose Grows in Harlem. It is a rainy Wednesday, May 20th, and I wanted to show you this little gem. We have a rose. And I was just visited by the first hummingbird that I have seen for the year. So now I could start putting up my hummingbird feeders for real. I will see you in a few days for our Feeding Fridays. It's about to rain, so I guess I'll do this a little quickly, but let's see if the birds come to visit now that I'm outside. Did anybody come to visit? Oh, so much stuff. Okay. Hey there, Marge here from Rose Grows in Harlem. It is Feeding Friday, May 22nd, and we're gonna check out how the bird feeders did this week. From a quick glance, it looks like we got to about halfway full. This one is about down to there. This one over here is about a little less than halfway, but that actually turned out really well. I will go and take you to see it up close, but I wanted to show you what the raccoons did in our little, we call it the kitty hotel. So this is the feeding piece that we use, and it's an automatic feeder, and we had it attached to the shelving, and they bit right through it. This is about, I don't know, maybe a little more than a 1/4 inch rubber, and they broke it so that they can try to get into the feeder, but they didn't. But the food is gone. So we're just going to remove that from there, and we're just going to keep this open for the cats in case they need shelter. No more feeding the raccoons. I'll just unplug it later. Whew. Okay. All right, that's thunder, so let me show you what the bird feeders look like. Okay. So this has been a huge success. As you can see, the birds are feeding. I don't see any kind of growth of mold or anything like that, which is sometimes a problem. And because of the way that this is shaken, you see how shaking this makes it come out of that little hole. So all of this stuff gets here, and the little birds sit here and eat it, so that's okay. But that was really successful. This one over here, we'll see. All right, so that is largely looking the same. So I think I will decommission this. I might actually put it on its side and figure something else out with that. But I have another feeder that is just the cage, and we'll end up doing that. Ooh, let's get to this before the rain comes. This is the other one. Pretty good. I'm not gonna refill these. I'm gonna actually let that run out. Ooh, the thunder. That is the squirrel one. And I will refill that real quick. Let's see if I can do this real quick. I did decide I will put this back up because I feel bad for the larger birds. They can only eat what's on the floor, and I don't want them to be scared because of the other birds, so I'm gonna fill this up real quick. Okay, so part of it didn't record because I was rushing and I accidentally pressed the stop recording button, but I ended up putting this little thing back up because I felt bad that the bigger birds were not getting into these caged feeders. Now, they work brilliantly, but I'm gonna have to consider a next step of figuring out what to do with other critters that maybe are not so healthy. I did see a rat, so I'll have to figure out what to do about that because they love slinking down this area and coming down here. Okay, now it's really raining, so I'm going inside. Okay, I had to come inside. The rain and the thunder was getting a little too much. I didn't want to take a chance of being out there for too long, but I figured let me show you what happens in my garden. I am one who sets off lofty goals and then I don't always follow through. I have to prioritize some of the things that have to get done, like trees have to be pruned because if they're encroaching in on the pathways of the garden, I'm not going to be able to get to different areas, right? So that makes sense. So pruning the trees was done. I tried to propagate them and I was successful, but then I let the whole thing dry out because I didn't come downstairs. I had other responsibilities to do, but it still worked as a test because I learned something from it. I learned that A, I can propagate. B, if I follow through with it, I can actually get a whole bunch of trees. Now, the next thing I probably will do is I will break up these into smaller scions, I think they're called, S-C-I-O-N-S. So instead of having like these really long branches, I will snip them at intervals and probably put them in like a mason jar or something like that. And this way I can label them, I know exactly what they are, I can look at the roots at a glance if I need to toss the water or, you know, recycle the water by watering something else. And then, you know, getting another thing, and I think the lights just flashed. So if it suddenly goes dark, I apologize. I should put in my lights that work off of a battery that you could plug them in and recharge them, but I was waiting for the rain all day and I'm like, I have to get outside and make this video before it rains and I have to go out with an umbrella because that's just a little awkward carrying bird feeders with an umbrella and the food and everything, so whatever, it's fine. But anyway, even though these poor scions bit the dust, I still learned from it. I learned that it's not so bad if I have the label ready, or if I have just the pieces of paper with the elastic around them, if I have a pen handy, because you would not believe how many times I end up going and getting ready for a project and I am not prepared. When it comes to work, what I do during the day, my 9 to 5, I am like super prepared. I bring all the tools that I need to with me, anything for organization or timing or any of that stuff, I have it with me. When it comes to my hobbies or my personal stuff, for whatever reason, when I keep business and personal separate, like, it's ridiculous. I don't apply those same skills, and I really should, because I'm good at my 9 to 5. But ooh, these lights are so hot. Plus I was running around. But yeah, I wanted to show you some of the other things and what I've learned. So that's with the scions. So those trees will not be going anywhere this year. I will save them for, I have an electric tree chipper, or rather a twig chipper. It's not supposed to take anything, I think, over like ½ an inch. And it was under $150. I bought it years ago thinking, oh yeah, when I take down all of the debris, you know, I'll just feed it into this thing and I'll be good to go. And then what happens? It's been sitting in a box, in the original box, for years. But I have it now, so if something goes wrong and I need to take it out, I don't have to buy it somewhere, and there's no immediacy, right? At least that's what I explained to myself. But here are my citronella plants. They're doing fairly well. And if we pick one of them up to see how the roots are doing, they're doing pretty good. So now I have to harden them off. And what that means, let me put this down. What that means is you take a plant and you put it outside at certain intervals so that it gets used to being in an outside environment again. Because even though these lights are very bright and they're able to grow under these light conditions, the sun is like millions times brighter. There are different rays that come from the sun, and it interacts with the plants differently. So if ever you bring a plant indoors, if you don't keep it by a window where it's got full sunlight, like if it's darker or if it's really cooler than what's outside, you really have to acclimate it again to the outside. So that's what we call hardening off. So I have all of these little plants that I bought, I think, are these a gallon? Ooh, I'm knocking everything everywhere. Is this a gallon? Yes, this is a gallon container. So I bought, I think, a pack of 100 of these. And what I plan to do is I will probably put 3 twigs in each gallon. So this way they can grow, get a little bigger, and then when they're off on their own, then I'll split them up again, and then they can each have their own gallon pot. Now, citronella is very good here, but it doesn't overwinter in my climate. I am currently in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and we have moved from a 7A or 7B to 8A because our summers get hotter and the winters get warmer as well. But citronella does not do well in the cold. It will die like immediately, and it's a shame because when you go to the store, they're like $15 for sometimes a gallon if they're out of stock and if there's high demand. Like, it's ridiculous. I never want to pay for citronella ever again. I used to buy them every year. At first it was hard to find them, and then everybody started carrying them again throughout the season, which is great because I finally got my one plant, which I'm also almost killing. This poor thing. It was green and beautiful before, but now it's, I think I have to break up the soil and replant. I have to repot it. I've got some potting mix here, so I might end up doing that when I get to my seeds, if I ever get to my seeds. But I still have them. They're still here from that last video that I did about showing you what seeds. And I really should put these in a closed container. I still have my rose seeds that I got from the rose hip outside. So all of that stuff is still there. I just really didn't have the bandwidth for the last few years to go hard on starting from seed. Again, I kind of explained it. I was taking care of a family member that was sick, and that took up all of my time. You know, I am so happy that I have the capacity to be the one to take care of them, but all the same, that did push any idea of, or any plans that I had for 2025 and some of 2026, it pushed those aside, which is fine, right? You have to set your priorities. And I just used that as a way to practice shifting in my gardening gardening plans, I guess. So that's why I ended up doing the citronella. I knew that was super easy. You just snip them. If they don't grow and it turns out like this, that just goes to the compost. And one of my boyfriend's sister-in-laws, one of his relatives was basically like, don't feel bad, because if you can't get to a plant, or if a plant dies, or if you have too much, just put in the compost, because you're not missing out when you give that. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm smelling the citronella. It smells really good. Don't let that not distract. What's the word? Don't let it discourage you, because you still have the power to put that energy back into your plants by putting in the compost. Now, you're not going to get the harvests, and you're not going to get the fruits, and you're not going to get all the, the evolution of that plant, but the energy that was stored in there is still there. So, you could still have that whole ecosystem going. So I still can't apply that when I do seeds. I'm sitting there with tweezers and 1 seed, 2 seed in each cell, because I don't like to waste the seeds. But that might be a whole different problem. But let's see, what else? Oh, yes. My poor... Okay, so I knew that I bought rose seeds a long time ago, and I think by now it's like 3 years ago. It might have even been 4 years ago. I got seeds from eBay, which is how this whole channel started, right? I think I got some black bacara seeds, and I tried to grow them, and I was so happy when one sprouted, and it turned out to be a mint plant. How that happened, I don't know, but none of my seeds sprouted. So I figured, let me try it again. These have not been stratified. They haven't been put in the fridge to mimic cold weather. They've just been here in the basement. So I think, what's the coldest it gets down here? Maybe 40s, but I'm not sure. But I have a lot of them. So I have, oh, this is hard to read, rose cherry brandy, I have rose sunset, yeah, this sunset rose. It's hard to read. It's very bubbly letters, like it's not even script. Blackberry Beauty, I think that says. I don't even remember what these roses look like. Morning Sun. And then Infusion. And I will leave these here because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. That's 6 roses. So I will probably make 1, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will probably use 2 of these, and I'll put 2 of each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and see how that goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 of the other ones, so I don't know. If this is the only thing that I try to grow from seed this year, I might just do 6 and 6 for all of them. I think I can do 6. Yeah, might as well try. Might as well try. Okay, so those are the rose seeds. And I am gonna now use this container as my new compost inside. So yeah. Let's see, what else did I have in here? This is all the stuff I was supposed to start from seed. Let's see, I don't even know if I showed this to everybody. I think I did. Oh, these might not even be good anymore. Avocado pits. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have a lot. I have a lot of avocado pits. So I was eating avocados for a while. I have a peach pit. These must be lemons. Yep, lemon seeds. This is all from the supermarket. So I purchased some kind of fruit and I got the seeds. Orange. I imagine they're organic because I don't think I would save seeds from just a random fruit. This gotta be apple. Oh, no, pears. Pear seeds. And these are supposedly pink lady seeds. Everything is really dry. I don't even know the state that these might be in. Nothing might come of these. So this year may be an experimental year. All right, my hair is getting out of control. All right, let's see. So I also had these things I'm probably killing. This is organic ginger that I also put with organic turmeric, and that was growing for a while. If you see that, it was growing, but it didn't have any access to water or light, so that's probably dead. I have, these are wild wonders, and this also started my crazy journey with, oh, I hate that word, my crazy garden adventure. I'm gonna start saying adventure because journey to me is so overused. I don't like the word anymore. But I was collecting seeds, and because I loved the colors of these, I mean, it was purples, browns, yellows, reds, bright orange, like it was beautiful, and they're called Wild Wonders. And I think I looked on the website to find out what kind of tomatoes were they, and I mean, I didn't have an exact match. I just looked up each one of them as they listed them and, you know, checked to see if that's what my tomatoes look like. And I believe I had brown berries, which were like the brownish purple berries, tomatoes, snowberry, which were yellow, San Marzano were the teardrop shaped long tomatoes, and something else. But these I had on the table, on the kitchen table. I accidentally left them somewhere under probably some canning supplies or something, and I forgot about them. And they shriveled up and they dried themselves out. So I think I will just try, I mean, there are so many seeds in one of these, but I'm gonna try just planting this and seeing what happens. I'll probably end up using one of these bigger cells because I think that would give it a little more space. But those are the Wild Wonders, and based on these colors, I think that might have been like a yellow one. This one might have been a red one, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. So, all experiments. This whole box is experiments. And then I might just be growing potatoes here just naturally. I mean, these potatoes don't give, they don't care, they love it. Look. Look at these potatoes. Look at them. That's wild. They're just growing. Oh my God, they're growing. Okay, I'm gonna switch the camera around so you can see this. They're growing potatoes. If you ever wondered what it looks like for potato growing underground and how they create potatoes. Ooh, sorry. This is no soil, no light, no water. And this is what they do. They grow these little tiny potatoes. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? That's my thumbnail. That's how potatoes grow. I think that is incredible. And that is just from being in a styrofoam lined box that I got that I ordered meat from. And that's what's happening. The potatoes have all of the energy it needs to make more potatoes. That's why it's so easy to grow them, because they are pretty much self-sufficient. They just need a container. Look at that, little baby potatoes. Well, I think that is absolutely adorable. Potatoes. Now, I think my sweet potato is also trying. It's actually creating leaves. Oh, maybe I should have showed it to you when it was when I was at the close-up. That is also pretty. Oh man, I gotta take a picture of that. All right, hold on. Let me switch again. Look at this gorgeous purple. I mean, we don't deserve this nature as humans. This is incredible. That's like art. I think I'm gonna take a picture of this and put this on my wall somewhere. That's just gorgeous. I love that. And I love that it's purple at the tips. Sorry, my hands are shaky. That's so cool. I think that's awesome. Yeah, so that's what happens when I neglect things and I learn things and I learn what works and what thrives, what needs attention. All these things that you learn when gardening, right? And I was very excited because my sister was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get into gardening. I'm like, yay, let's do it. And it was very cool. I get very excited. I'm oftentimes polished on here. So I don't really show, I don't want to say my true side, but you know, when you're with friends or you're with family, like you tend to act a little different. And when I'm around my siblings, I'm the oldest of 4, but when I'm around my siblings and around my my boyfriend, pitches turn up and funny voices come out. But we still have a good time. Which order do I have this in? I should probably put that down there. I don't know. Okay. All right. So, the front yard, still haven't gotten a chance to get to it yet. But I should put, I did have another rose bloom. I think I now have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 roses blooming outside, but the first bloom of my bright pink rose, I believe that was a Costco rose. I have put, or I should have put in the front of this video, because I went out there and checked it on Wednesday, and it was, I looked out of the window and you just see the splash of color in the sea of greens and browns, and I love that contrast. In the front, I also used to have brown-eyed Susans, I think they're called, like daisies and coneflowers, and just seeing the difference of the spark of color versus like the foliage. I love it. I just love it, and it's nature doing its best thing, and that is giving me joy right now because whew, things are pretty crazy out there. I hope you are all doing well. Thank you for watching this video. Again, it's always amazing to see that others like to follow along, And if you have any questions, I know I probably should put this throughout the video. Feel free. I know that you in the comments already, like, thank you so much for your questions. So far, it's been really fun trying to answer. Sometimes I'll know the answer. Sometimes it's just like an opinion thing. But I will happily respond within the week. Normally, I am busy doing my 9 to 5 and my other hobbies and things like that, but I do love to see when people comment, so that's really awesome. And if there's anything else you want me to focus on, let me know, because I've got a lot in the garden, and sometimes I only get out here to make sure that the birds are fed, that the cats are fed, and now because of those raccoons, we're gonna have to figure out another feeding or another way to feed those cats. That shelter is really just to make sure they have a place to sleep, especially in the colder months. That was my biggest concern, was what's going to happen when the temperatures dip, and we got it figured out. We created that little tent, or the little work tool shed, and my boyfriend went and he insulated the whole thing. He covered it with plywood, and then he attached a power strip to it so that we can plug in a heater, and it's a very safe heater. We keep it maybe in the 60s. It's just to make sure that, you know, they're not freezing when it's outside. And obviously the heater's not on at all now. It's all temperature controlled, and a lot of times that shed gets really hot. So the next piece is to get a fan. And the cats will know if it gets too hot in there, they just leave. Like, nothing is locked down. There's a flap in there, and we had it open because they didn't know what to do at first. So we just had it open with the food in there, and then they figured it out. And then we slowly lowered the flap, and then they figured it out. Animals are very smart. But yeah, so you guys all be safe out there. If you like this shirt, I do have it up on my merch store. I decided to make some t-shirts for me because I love plant shirts. There was one that I had from the Lone Line. You might see it. It's the black shirt that has the city up above, and then below is a tree line that matches the city skyline. And I love it. I was part of that Kickstarter, I don't know, over 10 years ago. And I don't even think they did anything with it. They were supposed to bring solar light below ground and then have a garden down there. And I don't think they did anything with it, but that's fine. But I got the t-shirt. I was supposed to get a plant with my name on it and stuff like that, but I don't think they ever did anything with it. A lot of red tape when it comes to New York City, but what are you gonna do? But I love stuff like that, you know, and I wanted to make stuff that represented me and represented the cool things I was doing on the channel. So I made this grow fruit trees and I love it. And I was like, well, if I'm making shirts for me, you guys are more than welcome to having them too. Like, I'm working full time. I'm actually looking to do something else on another YouTube channel, something that I've wanted to for a really long time. And it's not going to take away from this channel because gardening still has to get done. And even if it's just a channel of me working and not talking, even though I love to talk, it's going to happen. Part of the reason I started these Fridays was to keep me consistent. And if I couldn't stay consistent, I knew that I shouldn't take on more responsibility. But since I've been able to do this, I'm actually pretty motivated, so I think it'll be all right. So I hope you guys are all staying safe out there, and I hope you had a relatively good week. Ooh, what is that? Some kind of fly or something. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.